This reaction is brought to you by my $5 or more supporters at coffee.com/AlexHeitz. I'd like to thank Andreas Glaisel, Cole Alexander, Lukash Newman, Jag, Cedro Perez, Thin Ezzy, Willman, AJ, Lizardman aka Bill, and Ben Thrifty for sponsoring this video, supporting me, my family, the channel. I appreciate it immensely, and I hope you all enjoy this video. Dripping wet. Just like a Creative Liberty cover of one of my favorite Phil songs. Don't worry about it, but you know what? Worry about the fact that we are revisiting Lost Wisdom. We are doing part 2 today. I have gone on record saying that I really enjoyed the first Lost Wisdom. As far as like, now that we're finishing up the Mount Eerie catalog, you know, reflecting back, I think that Lost Wisdom is probably a top 3 for me. As far as like pure Mount Eerie albums go, I would say like Crow is in its kind of own category. But like Wind's Poem, Lost Wisdom, and probably Now Only, I think would be my top 3 so far. But we have 2 more to get through, as well as a microphones mixed in there as well. Also, I'm going to probably mention this every video until this actually happens. I am planning, for those who haven't seen it, I posted an update video, giving an update on how I'm going to be doing my live album reactions going forward. Long story short, I've shifted them over to Twitch. I've kind of changed the format up a little bit. It'll be better for me, time management wise. And it will also probably be better for me, like financially too, in the long run. Not that that's why I do this whatsoever. But when it comes to these like HD edited, you know, high quality reactions I do like this, where I'm not live streaming right now. I'm just, you know, alone in my office, but I think I will phase them out slowly. In fact, I have a feeling that like ending with Night Palace with Mount Eerie, because we have Lost Wisdom Part 2, then we have a Pole album, Microphones in 2020, and then Night Palace. And then after that, we go into Susie and the Banshees, as well as The Replacements, Yola Tango, Bruce Springsteen, lots of cool stuff, Bjork. And I'm thinking, you know, maybe once I finish this stuff from Phil, I'll just kind of phase out these HD reactions. And maybe only do them every now and then when I have the opportunity to. Because most of the problem has been that, like, I have a full-time job that, you know, requires a lot of my attention. I have 4 kids. And recording these, you know, like, it takes an hour or 2 at a time to record these. And then I have to cut up and edit an unedited version, render that out, cut up and edit a edited version. And that can take up to 2 to 3 hours alone. And it's just like, I'm not making a bunch of money doing it. I like doing it. It's just the time is not there anymore, unfortunately. So I'm shifting how I'm doing them. And I'm thinking that a nice breaking point would be I just finish out these 3 albums plus the Pole album. And then we go purely to a live stream system, which lets you guys, you know, partake, and you get to be there to actually see my reaction real time and chat with me. I think that's a really strong aspect of it. But in a way, I will kind of miss like being able to do these HD reactions, because I can kind of just, you know, it's like Dave Chur still does them, Smag still does them. Snowy, where are you? Keep making videos. You got to listen to Elliott Smith's New Moon. Anyway, that is kind of the state of things right now. That's where I think I am pointing with stuff. I'm probably going to eventually phase out the coffee page and figure out a way to get all of you guys access to the complete back catalog of unedited reactions. So there's no paywall. I've never really wanted there to be a paywall. It's only been because of like Vimeo hosting at the time, which cost like $240 a year. Ridiculous. And they actually lowered the amount of space you could have on your account a year or 2 ago, which was really frustrating. And they didn't change their price. So that is the state of things. I think it's going to be better in the long run. You know, a little bittersweet changing up stuff, because I've been doing these for like 8 years this way. which is kind of surreal. But it's been a lot of fun. And it's not like it's, this is going away. It's just changing a little bit. And I'll save these special reactions for ones that I can maybe, like, I know I could do unedited, I just don't like editing my reactions down. I don't like watching edited reactions, and I don't like making them because I know that they aren't pleasant to watch. But anyway, long story short, Mount Eerie and microphones will probably be the last ones I do on here. I'm planning on just posting the rest of these unedited. A, to make my life easier, and B, just to kind of, give something back to you guys. I have a very nice, kind of small active viewer base, who pop in every now and then, but very dedicated. I'm very appreciative of all of you, and I want to be able to give something back for all your time and even money that you've given me. So that is the state of things right now, and we're going to be moving forward with this next Mount Eerie album here. For those who don't know, I do unedited reactions on my Ko-fi page, coffee.com/AlexHaitz, for $5 a month. You can get access to unedited reactions from Modest Mouse going forward. Granted, this will probably change at some point in the future, but if you're interested in hopping in now and supporting the channel at $5 a month, you can get access to that whole back catalog of unedited reactions. You can also hop in at the $1 per month level and get access to voting in polls, which will be the next one that we do after this album. Just gives us a chance to interject random miscellaneous albums into the mix chosen by either me or my Discord. And so the Ko-fi page is where you can support the channel. Also, quick shout out for NordVPN, affiliate link in the description. If you are in need of a VPN, they are fantastic, great speeds, great prices. Check them out. Lost Wisdom. Why am I out of breath? I'm a little, I've been having some allergies, and sometimes the allergies kind of affect my breathing a little bit, which is kind of unfortunate. I do have an inhaler, so if I need to go grab that, I can. But Lost Wisdom, Part 2. This is going to be an interesting listen, I think. It's also short. It's a little bit longer than the first album, which was only 24 minutes. I'm always surprised when I see the length of the Lost Wisdom album, because, like, it doesn't feel like an EP, but it's kind of like as long as a longer EP. But it definitely has this, like, presence to it, and I appreciate the shortness of the tracks. I think that kind of gives it a strength. So, the story so far here is, this is, between Now Only and this, he had gotten married to Michelle Williams. Don't know how that happened. Moved to New York for a little while, and then moved back in 2019, after having only lived in New York for about 9 months, which I find that really fascinating, that, like, he was going through so much with his wife dying and then got remarried amidst all that. And I want to see how much of that shows up in the lyrics to this, if that makes sense. And then, I just closed the window. Dang it. Interestingly enough, Julie, she wrote her melodies, but, like, the entirety of the lyrics and a majority of the melodies were just Phil. And their collaboration was the result of touring together and years of discussion. Elverum knew that he wanted to make the record with Doiron and enlisted her help before he had created any of the songs, and so quickly created first drafts before her arrival. So, I think it's going to be maybe a bit less like the first Lost Wisdom. I'm going to imagine it's probably not quite as good, but you never know. And what else? First track is 7 minutes long, which is interesting. Kind of creates, like, the bulk of the album, interestingly enough. Only 8 tracks, and I don't really have a whole lot to add. I kind of just want to listen. Like I said, I'm planning on posting this whole thing unedited, so you guys don't need to worry about missing any of my beautiful face going, like, because that's what you do. Okay, I feel like I'm forgetting something that I was going to say, but since I've forgotten it, let's go ahead and move on. So the first track, 7 minutes, is Belief. Let's go.
between a belief and not believing in anything, in any solid shape. The unfettered mind, a deeper understanding that holds nothing, that lets sounds come in the ear and just pass through without deciding what it was. If it was a jet or a dragon, it was merely a sound without a name or a picture. It was every possible thing at once. I barely ever get to be in this state. Just quick flashes by surprise when I'm like standing by a car, squinting my eyes, caught off guard and unpicturesque. I used to sing this one song all the time that I made up to try to cut through, and I'd find myself caught up, entranced in certainty, staring at a hill. And it went, let's get out of the romance, over and over. Let's get out of the romance. Like, please, can I go through this life unscared to see that nothing stays the same, no one knows anything. When I was younger and didn't know, I used to walk around basically begging the sky for some calamity to challenge my foundation. When I was young, so imagine what it was like to watch up close a loved one die and then look into the pit. I lived on the edge of it and had to stay there. Joanne Kiger said,
we fight incredibly through a hideous mishmash of inheritance, forgiving for deeper stamina. We go on. The world always goes on, making us with its changes until our form, exhausted, runs true.
Nowhere love returned. I saw what looked like a god who walks among us. I met her, we fell so in love. She is angelic, miraculous. I totally lost my mind and poured everything into this sea, this ocean. And when I came to, I saw my face in a store window's reflection, and there was fear behind those eyes. Now I'm back where I was when I was 20, trying to stop clinging to a dream and let an old idea of love dissipate back into formless rolling waves of discomfort and uncertainty. The true state of all things. I want to wade out into dark water, hand in hand with you. I played this song for you, and all you heard were the words, discomfort and uncertainty. You asked, how do we get back to how it was? And that's when I started to know that I might be in it alone, devoted to an unknown. Homelessness enthroned, us and the kids all wind-blown, courageous as bone, lying down in a storm, steadfast newborn, a house with no door, exhausted form. In your eyes I found home. I believed you and dove. And oh my God, when we swam together for a little bit.
He's still doing it. Sudden endings, and then just like, you know what, let's have 5 seconds of silence. Okay. This is pretty in line with what I was expecting. It's like I mean, I've only heard one track so far, but it's more of a revisit of themes than of tone. Obviously, Fred isn't here with his guitar. Julie's vocals are still... her harmonizing with Phil sounds really nice, really pleasant. The fact that it was recorded... like, Elvin recorded the album with the door open. Natural sounds such as breaths, birds, jackhammering, and night air are featured throughout the album. I could definitely sense that. There's like... he just keeps leaning on this like room tone aspect, which gives it almost like this bedroom feel, literally. Yeah, strong start. More of the same that he's been like. He's really been leaning hard on like certain chord motifs, like in particular, like a 6/5/4, which for those who don't know, it's like a like a lot of that in the last like 3 albums, which is fine. It just creates more of a, like, he's just really not been, like, the only track in the last like 3 albums so far that I felt was actually like melodically charged in any kind of like typical Phil way was Now Only. Maybe Toothbrush Trash, but it's been so much more about like the musical backdrop not being there for melodic or catchiness sake. Not that it ever completely was with Phil, but I mean, you listen to Glow Part 2, there's melodies all throughout that thing that are amazing. It's been more about like creating a tone and an atmosphere with certain chords. And it's more about the impressionistic like painting of the chords over time, not necessarily moment to moment, if that makes sense. Yeah, decent start. Let's go ahead to the next one. When I Walk Out of the Museum.
When I walk out of the museum, the wall of sunlight makes me crinkle up my nose. standing cohalf between marble columns. I sneeze into the wind.
When I walk out of the museum, I have centuries of dust behind my eyes. I hunch a little bit from the culminated weight of all these other people's ideas. I see a tipped over garbage can blowing in the street. When I walk out of the museum, I think about a snorkeler surfacing, tangled in kelp. That is me writhing wild attention, glancing around. The huge museum doors behind me slam, and I flinch. In all of these brief flashes of momentary clarity, the emptiness that cuts through is like a bowl beneath the sky, empty, not yet pregnant, fertile without form. It terrifies me, the raw possibility, and I wanna go back inside. But when I walk out of the museum, everything I see seems replaying and alive. On a freezing January day, everything, the museum and the garbage and the internet and the constellations all collapse into a heap, and light floods out from this compost pile.
That almost sounded like the chord that he like picks at the beginning of Who. Okay, you know, I'm kind of starting to see here this rub between, like, because I think that post his wife's death, there's just like, and I haven't heard Night Palace, I haven't heard the microphones in 2020, so I don't know. There's a very deliberate change in just songwriting style. And I kind of just mentioned it a little bit ago as far as like how he paints with chords over a broad canvas rather than moment to moment. But there's also this lingering on the same lyrical themes a lot, which like I get, you know, he's just very confessional and talks about what he's going through with his life. But there's almost this like certain veneer of like poetry that has been taken away, I think intentionally. But I don't know. It's like it just doesn't hit quite as hard as some other stuff has in the past of his music. It just kind of feels like I'm listening to a journal, which I can only, you know, his previous stuff wasn't quite like that. Like Dawn was very conceptual and poetic in that kind of theme, but it wasn't, you know, Dawn had a decent amount of like really interestingly written guitar parts. These are all of these tracks from these last, you know, 3 albums or so have just been very like, it's I don't know. It's like every time I try to describe this, I keep coming up with words that I feel like aren't completely accurate to what I'm trying to say. Because like there still is like interesting chord work that is happening. It's just some of the things that people really liked about his previous work is just not here, I guess is the way to say it. Not that this is like inferior or weaker. It's just different. And I'm curious as to like how many Glow Part 2 fans are only Glow Part 2 fans and not Phil fans. You know what I mean? I don't know, just some thoughts. That one didn't strike me super hard, but again, it was like, just felt like I was listening to a journal, which is interesting, but it's not music that I can come back to because it's like, I don't want, when I listen to music, I want to like connect with something and feel something. And I don't know if like listening to what Phil is going through in 2017 or 18 or 19 is exactly what I want to reach for every time I will want to listen to music is the rub. Anyway, Enduring the Waves is the next track.
Reading about Buddhism and listening to Zaster on the subway in New York City. Back when you were my home, not that long ago. This
journey of
life
avalanches
upends me again and again.
It spins.
Each
day plummets
each
into
night. Now my mind in the dark brings it all roaring back. That you could not bear.
Can I bear the uncertainty that arrives on the wind that came in through the door?
That I cannot hold.
Holding you in my mind.
Our devotions mismatched.
Waking up surprised with no one around and wondering who.
We could have bridged the gap, but it yawned and swallowed this world of ours that's now yours and mine. This life bulldozed by ridiculous
Clinging to
sensitivities. Seeing your face everywhere and there's no escape.
Seeing this love.
Except what if we could go further in? We were each other's reward for enduring the waves.
The wages of dying is love, like the poem says.
As long as the one last leap into the dark is wholehearted, it almost was.
Yeah. I like that one a bit better than the previous one. I like the little piano trills that come in. I think the first track had that, right? I actually really like when Phil uses piano. I think he needs to do it more, if I'm to be honest, because the chord tones are really nice. They're like very similar chord tones to what he does on the guitar, because he really likes to experiment with, like, I'm going to throw in a 2 or a sus2 or a sus4 or a sus9 or a sus13 or something. But hearing that on the piano, I think is pretty cool too. Like, I remember when I first heard Daydreaming by Radiohead and learning that piano motif on the piano. I was like, these chords are really cool. Very impressionistic and open sounding. And I think that serves very well on the piano, in my humble opinion. Okay, next one is Love Without Possession. I believe that this was actually a single. It was. And it's bolded on RYM. How about that? Let's go ahead and listen.
What would be the use in becoming a symbol of walking desolation? Awash in multitude
grows beneath
all the pain and anguish.
love that doesn't die.
Make my embroidering
Love, a small word unable to hold. Well, we stretch at its meaning. Now this, what's this new version of love that intrudes into the peace I thought I had? This love has no recipient, but still lies there smoldering. Indifferent stars in the night sky watch me while I turn, still holding this love for you, without a thing to do, but try to live in this uninvited liberation, without a home in your life or heart, without a shelter at all, exposed and burning still, this unattended fire, for no one emanates, a wasted warmth on the wind, pushing against the edges of what it means to give. Lost wisdom in sparks that rise and die. Even if I never get to see you again, I'll know that when we collided, we both broke each other open. Rose petals were blustering, and I'm determined still to hold this open door. Even now as it devastates, I wake up gasping in the void again.
Speak sky, blow breaths, exhale to dissipate. Be always gathering clouds of yearning memory of all that we foresaw, laid out before our sunlit.
Dropped from a height back into the open ocean. It's all horizon. This sky mirroring emptiness is where I first found you.
Yeah, pretty good. It gave me the thing I was wanting that I haven't gotten for so long. Like a very simple, like 6-4 progression there. Man, I think I've said this before on a previous reaction or reactions. I love hearing Phil do something very simple songwriting wise. Like I mentioned, really basic chords for a lot of that. And also just like simple kind of like folk strumming and creating like just really nice melodies over it. Like he still has that prowess, which is cool to hear. Also the like expanded instrumentation. That was really nice. Like whenever he pulls out the harmonium or organ, I'm just like, here we go. Here we go. If that's what that was, I have no idea. I know he likes analog recording, but it wouldn't surprise me also if that was just a synth, considering how quickly he made this album. But very nice. Very nice. That's certainly a highlight for sure. Real Lost Wisdom, not the fake one.
Now I'm frantically grasping at wisps of dissipating wisdom as we disband. This is the wealth I would like to leave to my daughter when she lets go of my hand. These words, these hopes, we almost exemplified. Wisdom lost, undiscovered paintings in a cave. We almost went inside. If any descendants ever somehow find any evidence of us, on it all inscribe. Love vehemently like we did, without averting your eyes. For love, it's worth it. Look into the fire. Don't flinch away, no matter what monstrous fears will arise. If there's a cataclysm and you have to go inside, please at least let some wind blowing. Take yet another breath and stay right there, courageous and kind. With love permeating the doors and windows wide. Look right into the fire, look right into the fire. Look right into the fire, look right into the fire.
Okay. Not bad. But again, we're doing like literally the same chords. To be it's the 6/5/4 thing. Granted, we have a little bit more of like, you know, stuff like that. Doing the sus 2 on the 4 is actually a nice motif. I like that, but yeah, it's it's like I can only enjoy it to a certain degree, and it's not a degree. It's a degree that is a degree that is much lower, much more below than like the heights of some of his other songwriting, I think. It's tough because I don't want to say that I'm critiquing it, or I am critiquing it. I don't know if I'm like negatively criticizing it though. It's just like it's very comfortable existing in a very small little camp somewhere, which is fine. I don't know. I'm just trying to work through it, you know? I will be honest and say that I don't like it as much as some of his other music. I think that's fair to say, but it's not me like poo-pooing it at all. I think it has every right to exist, you know? There's certain albums, certain songs where you hear them and it's like, why is this real? Why am I listening to this right now? It's kind of a waste of my time. This is not a waste of my time. I would certainly never say that. We have 3 tracks left. Almost done. Widows is the next one.
It's almost Mother's Day. Me and the other widows will commiserate. Alone at Montessori again. Straddling 2 worlds between the crush of single parenting and the need for wailing in the woods around a slosh pile burning into the night with tear-crusted eyes. I know I'm overcompensating in this PTSD disorientation from my brief time in the rich part of the city. Now my hands stink like salmon skin left out in the rain, in the ash of the fire from last night. I haven't bathed in a while and no one's near me.
Is there significance in where you live? Let it all go and follow love and intuition.
Today the tabloids told the world you separated me.
And see what's there
My phone began dinging more than usual.
in the open sky.
It was just like the day they found out that we'd gotten married.
Because we're all gonna die.
Unwanted attention from an inhumane, delirious, absurd other world that keeps trying to eat you. I woke up quivering, raw and heartbroken again. Took my daughter to the garbage dump and rifled through the free pile and stood next to the pit. The crows and ravens circling spoke to us, and we spoke back to them. But nothing is real except this one thing. Please remember at the bookstore in the poetry corner upstairs, I slept with my head on your lap.
A bit less of the infamous chord progression here. Cool explosion in there too. I haven't really commented on the fact that some of these lyrics definitely are talking about his marriage to Michelle. There's a little bit here on the Genius page. Yeah, I do allude to that time, his breakup with Williams, partly because here I am making this album and putting it out into the public, so in some ways I'm participating in that gross world that I want to avoid. Interesting. And I want to recognize that the contradiction in that. I recognize the playing field. I recognize how gnarly it must feel to live with those concerns. It's a tough one, and I'm still kind of hung up on it. It would be amazing to write a song that could be sung 100 years from now by a teenage girl and still be relevant to her. That's a dream of songwriting, maybe. But nonetheless, what I end up doing is writing these hyper-specific things about my own life in these particular months. That song in particular is about being disoriented about what's real and trying to find some firm ground. I have all these versions of reality that I've lived over the past few years. Can they all be real? Can they all coexist? In that same song, I overcompensate in the other direction. I mentioned going to a bonfire and a garbage dump, getting stinky in the woods. I was just trying to find some middle ground between extremes. Yeah, yeah. He at least seems kind of self-aware about the difference in his songwriting here. That is one thing I really respect about Phil, is that he has some sort of like dark humor about him and self-awareness while still making like things that feel authentically artful, which is very hard to do, you know? It's kind of how I feel going through Built to Spill at the moment. We're a couple albums into that. And I just did a live reaction last week for Perfect From Now On, which was stunning. And I think I said in the reaction, like, I didn't know Doug had it in him, honestly. And it's like, it's so nice to hear these like really just visionary songwriters that can make incredible works of art that are just, you know, fantastic and better than anything I could make for sure. So the next track is Pink Light. It's kind of short. Let's listen.
Our bones do blow away. In pink light. And in pink light we found each other. In the spring, dripping with flowers. Now in wind filled with human remains. The petals won't stop blowing. With each setting sun asking, could there be another spring?
The Long Silence, which in an album flow might make some sense, I suppose. Least favorite so far, but I mean, mostly just because, like, it kind of reminded me of some Dawn Winter Journal songs that I did not like a whole lot. It's just little aimless chord-wise. The lyrics were pretty, melody was okay, but like, I don't know, just a little too loose, I suppose, for my taste. Final track is Belief Part 2. Let's close this out.
I believed in love, and I still do. I'm not going to seal up my heart. I still do. I believed in love and in you. Now all the way, I know it's in you. I love you. could warm you again. I will be out here in the weather for you glowing. I believe, and now I walk to the edge of delusion, divorced and estranged, staying back with my parents. I believe though, because I know who you are and that the world we could share, that we lived in for a moment, still lies fertile in the dark. I go there, alone there. I can only offer my love. I love you. I release you. At the edge of this ocean I stand and pour out the glass of water I brought. There's nothing else I can give but love.
At the end of your album? Really? That's okay. That's fine. Wow. So that had like a, it was almost like a hymn type of chord progression. I know I've been reaching for the guitar a lot. I don't know why. Like, like a 5/7 back to the 1. Lots of very old hymn writing techniques in there. And yeah, almost like kind of leans towards that like doo-wop, kind of like David Lynch style sound, might be on a David Lynch soundtrack kind of a thing, which makes a lot of sense for Phil, for sure. Not bad. Solid outro, actually. That's decent bookends, I think, for Belief 1 and 2 there. Okay. Lost Wisdom Part 2. It's good. Thanks for watching, everybody. Yeah, not as good as Part 1, for sure. Part 1 had some kind of like, I'd say more clarity to it. This is definitely more in the same vein as his previous 2 albums. Save for a couple surprises. I think Love Without Possession and Widows are probably the 2 highlights here. I do think the last track is also pretty strong. When I Walk Out of the Museum in Pink Light, fine. And then Real Lost Wisdom and Enduring the Waves are kind of more of the same that we've gotten over the past few albums. So it's a kind of mixed bag. It seems to be getting like a 3.5 out of 5 across the board, and that's probably where I would end up putting it as well. Just kind of a step down from Lost Wisdom, which I have at a 4 right now. It just, I don't know, when he brings Julie in and revisiting these Lost Wisdom themes, I kind of just wish that it was maybe a bit of a tighter album, but I get that it kind of happened sort of quickly and is more in the vein of the songwriting that he was doing at the time. So it makes sense. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot more to add on it. I'm glad I listened to it. I'll probably come back to Widows and Love Without Possession as individual tracks. The rest of it being more like confessional and all that. It's just, I don't know. I don't revisit really anything from the last 2 albums because I don't feel the need to. And I'm curious if you guys kind of feel the same way. It's like once is enough to some degree, but it's kind of, I am glad having heard these because like they just kind of sit in my brain, they sit in my subconscious, and they kind of stew. And it's a interesting, like introspective, pensive way of viewing the world, I think, even if there's a lot of sadness and whatnot going on in here. But yeah, Lost Wisdom Part 2, done. Wasn't planning on doing that one originally, but I'm glad that I did. Because it was a decent listen. And next album will be a poll album, but then we're going into Microphones in 2020 and Night Palace, which I'm very excited about. So stay tuned for all that. Okay, everyone. That's all I got. That is all I got. We are done. Things to plug yet again, coffee.com/AlexHaitz. Like I said, will eventually be phased out, but if you want to hop in and see the backlog right now, because it'll probably be a few months before that happens, to round out these Mount Eerie albums. But if you want to support the channel, it'd be a good place to do it. Also need to shout out the Discord. Link in the description for that. Got about 200 members over there. It's not the most active server, but I will post links to like when I go live and announcements and all that, and early access to reactions and whatnot. So that is where you would want to be if that stuff is good for you in your life. The end. Okay. That's all I got. Just to reiterate what I said at the beginning, we're kind of changing up the format going forward. I have instigated a members-only thing, or like a membership on the YouTube channel. And basically that's where all of the videos that are being copyright disputed will live until they are completely copyright-free. So that they won't get taken down or messed with or anything like that in the future. Right now I have Perfect From Now On behind that paywall. It's just $1 a month. That's kind of where a majority of your guys' money is going to go in the future, I think, because like I said, I'm phasing out the coffee page. Don't know exactly if I'll be doing donation streams in the future because those are also hard to manage copyright-wise. But for the time being, or eventually I want to get to the point where the only thing you guys are needing to pay for is either like a Twitch subscription because you want to support me that way, or pay for the membership on the channel to view these album reactions early while I'm battling the copyright. So as of right now, Perfect From Now On is behind that paywall, and you can join the membership on the YouTube to see it ahead of time before all the copyright stuff falls off and I post it for real. And yeah, I think same day that this comes out on YouTube, I will also be live streaming Keep It Like a Secret, which I'm very excited to hear in full. Love a good handful of tracks off of that thing, so I want to listen to the full album. That'll be happening Saturday on the 11th, I think it is. Yes, which is also the day that this should come out to the public. So thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all you guys' patience as I work through some changes here on the channel and just kind of adjust some things. It'll make my life easier, and you guys will get to participate in these reactions more often. I think it'll be a net positive, even if there are some changes that you guys might not like, and some that honestly I don't like either, but kind of needs to happen for the sake of my sanity a little bit, which, you know, I guess kind of matters. I don't know. I don't owe anybody any of my time when it comes to like listening to songs. I do this purely for myself first, and you guys just happen to enjoy it, which I'm very grateful for. So that's all I got. I hope you guys are all doing well. I will stay tuned for the poll. I'll announce when that's coming up. I think it's maybe Discord chooses the poll album. Let me double check. No, it's me this time. It's me this time. So I need to pick 4 albums, and I will post a video of when that is being voted on. So until next time, thank you everyone. Take care, fare thee well, and Godspeed.